It was a bright morning. The lobby of a renowned corporate company was packed with dozens of applicants. Everyone was dressed sharply, holding their resumes, nervously rehearsing answers, checking files, eyes fixed on every door that opened. Then, she entered. A quiet, graceful woman in a wheelchair slowly rolled in through the glass doors. A file rested in her lap, slightly tilted, her hands gripping it tightly. Her posture was steady, but her fingers trembled, carrying not just papers, but something heavier, something unseen. A few heads turned to look. Then quickly turned away. Some offered polite half-smiles. Some pretended not to see her at all. To them, she was just another, disabled woman, surely not someone who belonged to a top-level corporate space. No one greeted her. No one asked who she was. And that's exactly how she wanted it. Because this woman, quietly observing in her wheelchair, was the CEO of the very company all these people were desperate to work for. She wasn't just moving through the room. She was watching hearts. The interview time was approaching. The lobby grew more serious. The woman moved slowly toward the elevator, her file balanced on her lap. Suddenly, a young man rushing in brushed past her, without even an apology. The file slipped. Papers scattered across the glossy floor. Some slid under chairs, some fluttered like autumn leaves. She froze for a moment. Her hands instinctively reached forward. But her body couldn't bend far enough. Her fingers hovered just above the pages. She couldn't reach. And the room stayed still. People had seen it. But no one moved. A few glanced over awkwardly. Some turned their eyes back to their phones. One man even stifled a laugh. But no one got up. No one helped. She sat there, not in fear, but in a heartbreak far older than that morning. The kind of pain that doesn't come from what's done to you, but from what people choose not to do. The camera lingers on her face, not anger. But quiet, knowing sorrow. Among them stood a young man in modest clothes, holding a slightly worn folder. His name was Jacob. His shirt was a little loose at the shoulders, shoes clearly aged. But his eyes held something no one else's did, empathy. He paused, looked around, everyone else was ignoring her. Then, he walked forward. Without hesitation, he knelt beside her. One by one, he picked up the scattered papers, dusted them off, aligned them, and gently handed them back to her. "Ma'am, are you okay? Where are you going?" he asked softly. The woman was surprised, not just by the help, but by the tone in his voice. I work here," she said quietly. He smiled gently, no pity in his eyes. "Come on, let me take you inside." She looked at him for a moment, then nodded. He stepped behind her wheelchair, not like a helper, not like a superior, but as a human being who recognized dignity. They moved toward the elevator together. And the rest of the lobby? Still frozen. Completely unaware they had just missed a moment that would define the future. Hours later, Jacob was sitting in the interview waiting room. His name was called. He stood up, heart racing, and walked into the interview room. What he saw made him stop in his tracks. Gasps filled the room. There, in the center of the panel, stood the same woman he had helped. Yes, stood. On her feet. The woman they had all ignored earlier, assumed to be just a disabled visitor, was now standing tall as the CEO of the company. The entire panel looked stunned. Some whispered to each other in disbelief. Jacob stood silently. The CEO smiled and looked straight at him. "Jacob," she said warmly, "you didn't even need to enter this room to pass the interview." He blinked, his eyes glistening. She continued. "We don't hire the smartest. We hire the kindest. The most human. You showed everything we value, without anyone asking you to. That's what true leadership looks like." Then, she smiled even wider. "Jacob, welcome to the company. You're hired." Tears slipped down Jacob's face. Not just from joy, but from the validation of something he had always believed, that goodness matters. He had lifted a few sheets of paper, but in truth, he had lifted his own fate. Months passed. Jacob now sat proudly at his desk in the company. He glanced up at the wall near the entrance and read the bold quote that now defined the organization. "We don't hire the smartest. We hire the kindest. Because integrity builds empires." He smiled. Peacefully. The CEO passed by, her wheelchair gliding smoothly, her face warm with pride. Their eyes met. He nodded. She smiled. That same boy, once nervous, unnoticed, was now part of something greater than just a company. He had helped a woman. But he had also helped an entire company rediscover its soul. In that office, things had changed. People now looked beyond resumes, degrees, and appearances. They looked for heart. And Jacob remembered her final words. "Recognizing humanity is difficult. But when you find it, it changes everything." The camera pulls back slowly, revealing an office not just filled with workers, but filled with hope. Where success was no longer measured by profit alone, but by compassion.